So here we go. Baylor won the toss. They chose to receive this electrifying offense, #1 in the nation. 70.5 points a ball game. And the kick's away. Low, taken at the 10-yard line. Clay Fuller, up the middle he goes, and finds his way past the 40-yard line to the 41. And Joey, let's look at the Husqvarna high-performance players to watch, brought to you by Husqvarna.
Yeah, you can choose anybody on this Baylor offense, but Lake Seastrunk is really emerging as a Heisman Trophy candidate, and Antoine Goodley is just catching balls all over the field. On defense, it's going to be up to Ty Zimmerman for Kansas State to really get up and make tackles at the line of scrimmage, and they have to get pressure on the quarterback. Bryce Petty needs to be pressured, and that's got to come from Ryan Mueller today.
Only one time this season has Baylor gone out 3 and out in 61 drives. They start this drive at their 41-yard line. On a play-action pass, Petty has the ball batted. It's incomplete.
Who was that right there?
Ryan Mueller.
Right in the mix from the start.
So here's Bryce Petty, over 337 yards a game. 6'3" junior. He learned from Robert Griffin III. He learned from Nick Florence. 10 touchdowns on the season, just 1 interception. On second down, 10. Petty, up top he goes, finds the seam, and a beautiful catch at the 30-yard line. On the hands of Antoine Goodley.
Kansas State really got up. Watch here. Safeties come up, try and take that bubble screen. What it does, that hesitation for just a moment allows Antoine Goodley to get behind the safeties. These safeties for K-State are going to be in a tough bind all day.
A pickup at 31. First touch for Seastrunk. Ball's out and covered up by Baylor back at the 31-yard line. Seastrunk lost the ball, jumped back on it. He is the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week. Last week against West Virginia, Joey, 172 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
Well, Lake is if he's not already in the discussion, is going to be in the discussion for this Heisman Trophy here, as long as he holds on to the football.
High snap, quick throw. K-State able to handle the spread offense of Baylor as Levi Norwood made the reception. They'll pick up 5. It'll be 3rd down long. On that tackle was Zimmerman. He's been all over the field this season. Career high 14 stops last week against Oklahoma State. Boy, the fans, the student section, they are roaring right now on 3rd down. High snap, Petty. And Baylor was forced, Joey, to call a timeout. Why? The noise of the student section.
Well, I think Coach Briles realized that his team was a little bit out of control. We had the fumble earlier, the batted pass on the first play of the game, the crowd noise from the student section. Craig, you mentioned it. This is the first time they've been away from Baylor. This is the first time they've been on the road, and it seemed like they were getting a little bit ahead of themselves. I think it was a smart timeout call by Coach Briles, settle his guys down for a very important 3rd down.
How amazed are you that the scheduling worked out? 4 straight home games, a couple of byes sandwiched in between for Baylor, and now it's October 12th, and you're playing your first road game in conference play.
Well, it's mid-October, your first time on the road, and your starters have only played 8 quarters this entire year. The majority of the time, they're gone by the first series of the second half. This is going to be the first real test for Baylor on the road against the Big 12 defending champs.
First drive of this game at the 29-yard line of Kansas State. Petty in the pocket, good protection, he can't run. He's flush near side at the 30. Tucks, heads to the sideline, and is bumped out strong, and a flag. A flag's out at the 23. Randall Evans came in to give him a shot. And flags, turnovers, a big issue for Bill Snyder of late.
Last week against Oklahoma State, Kansas State had 10 penalties in the first half.
Unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 15. Half the distance for goal from the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
Craig, it's the right call. Bryce Petty's already out of bounds. An overly aggressive play from this Kansas State defense. And we said it just a second ago. Penalties, turnovers, uncharacteristic Bill Snyder mistakes are what have been the Achilles heel for this Kansas State team this year.
1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. Glasgow Martin battling back slowly from an early season ankle injury with that carry inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. And Ryan Nish, you know, turnovers, you can't have them.
You can't have them, but at the same time, I like the way Kansas State is being physical. Yes, it was a bad penalty, but they created a turnover. They're flying around out here on defense, guys. They got emotion.
They ride the ball inside of Martin again, and they'll knock it down at the 5-yard line. Snyder, the tight end, number 18, with a nice block for Glasgow Martin. By the way, Joey, number 2 in the country on the ground, 347 yards, number 1 in passing at 432. And inside they go, and a flag's out, 5-yard line.
They had 12 guys on the field there, Craig. They had a defensive line substitution, and he wasn't able to get off to the sideline. The tempo of Baylor is already getting to K-State.
Our referee today, Mike Defee.
There are 2 fouls on the defense. Offside, defense number 98. 12 men on offense, on defense, but penalties decline. Result of the play, 1st down.
Shaquille Reed early to jump. The ball, Joey, now at the 1-yard line. 1st and goal, Baylor.
I wouldn't be surprised if they give it right back to Glasgow Martin. A touchdown machine last year with 15 touchdowns. Like you said, has been out a good part of the start of the season with an ankle injury.
Martin, the lone back, gets the handoff. Tries to weave his way right into the heart of Kansas State's front. Randall Evans, the corner, came up to make the initial hit. It'll be 2nd down goal.
You know, something I find really interesting, Bryce Petty, for all the success he's had through the air, has only thrown 3 passes in the red zone this year. Whenever they get in the red zone, they're running the ball, and when they're throwing touchdowns, it's from deep out. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see it pounded again with Glasgow.
220-pound back is Glasgow Martin. Make the call, and again for the 2nd time, Kansas State. Oh, they play steady up front. Randall Evans crashed in along with the will. Weak side linebacker Jonathan Truman. You have to like that front push of the purple.
Yeah, you do, and this is exactly what Ryan talked about in the pregame. That momentum, that crowd energy, this motivation. I mean, this Kansas State defense is playing with some passion right now, and if they can come up with a 3rd stop right in a row from the 1-yard line, this place is going to go crazy.
Listen in, 3rd down goal from the 1. No. Truman, Blake Slaughter. 4th and goal.
And here they go. Here comes the tempo. Here they go. Watch them just try and sneak this in.
Petty under center, sneak it. Did he make it? The push, touchdown Baylor. Petty from a ½ yard scores his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. And Baylor, Joey, we've seen Baylor a couple times this season. They had to work a little bit on this drive.
Yeah, they did. But I still find it interesting. They did not throw the ball once they got inside the 20-yard line. And we heard this crowd go from absolutely crazy to silent in a matter of about 5 seconds.
Aaron Jones will set the point after attempt on the season. 37 of 37. He's hit 144 in a row. Last time he's missed, it was back in November of 2011. And a flag before the kick. I'd say there's some emotions, a little extra talk in there going on after what happened last season in Waco. Kansas State's national titles derailed.
False start. Kicking team number 60. 5-yard penalty. We'll play try.
Laquan McGowan. The infractions of Jones now, instead of a chip shot, will knock this off the 15-yard line. A 25-yard extra point. Chips it up and good. The streak continues, 144 in a row, 12 plays, 59 yards, and Petty goes in the final yard, and Baylor's up in Manhattan, taking a ride around town. Flags are flying. The Hogs all came in together, 107 strong.
Good Lord, they were loud. Boy.
Scoring drive of 12 plays. It took nearly 4.5 minutes off the clock. That was the first points allowed by a K-State opponent on their opening drive all season long.
Well, if it was going to happen against somebody, it was probably going to be against Baylor.
Back to receive, John Hubert, Morgan Burns for Kansas State. Aaron Jones teed up, ready to go with a 7-0 lead at the 35-yard line. It's really so important for Kansas State to answer back. Big crowd at Snyder Family Stadium, nearly 50,000 strong. Short kick, 18-yard line is Burns. He'll push the pile up to around the 31-yard line. Good field position for Kansas State. And Joey, look at the Husqvarna high-performance players to watch. Brought to you by Husqvarna.
Yeah, Kansas State needs to get production out of John Hubert today. With the injuries outside to Tyler Lockett and Tremaine Thompson, you don't know how much they're going to go or if they're going to go. They need something from John Hubert today. And Terrence Lloyd, defensive end for Baylor, has just been solid all year. Is going to get pressure on the quarterback, and Ahmad Dixon, keep an eye on him in the secondary, number 6. He's going to be all over the field tonight.
So Jake Waters gets the start. Will line up shotgun at the 31-yard line. 4 wide receiver set. On a keeper. Oh, he takes a crushing hit. 35-yard line. Sam Hall, the nickelback, came in strong out of Katy, Texas. Jake Waters won a national title. Iowa Western Junior College. 6 starts on the season, over 65% completion rate, and he's flirting with 1,000 yards through the air.
And he's done a really nice job. 3 games over 275 through the air. They just haven't been able to get anything consistently going this year.
Little read option and a quick throw far side. Steven Johnson bumped out near the first down marker, 41-yard line, and a nice hit by Eddie Lackey, the Will weak side linebacker.
You know, I think you're going to see that play a lot from Kansas State today. If they get Daniel Sams, the second quarterback, in, and you saw him do it there with Jake Waters, they catch the ball, they run this quarterback power where they pull the guard around, and he slow plays it. If the linebackers come up and try and make the tackle on him, he's going to throw the football. If they stay back, he's going to run it. It's almost kind of a read play action combination.
To pick up the first down, Kansas State at the 41. Waters wants to throw, does. Near side, ball on the hands of Terrell Miller. And the way Kansas State looks, Joey, the way they want to operate against Baylor is that chunk away. 5 here, 6 there.
Well, that's Kansas State football. They're not a high-flying, explosive type of team. They follow the lead of their head coach, Bill Snyder, who's a very steady, disciplined person, and he wants his teams to act that way.
John Hubert, number 33, jumps on the field, lines up behind Waters on second down 4. Skips out of the tackle, has room, finds a hole, breaks it to the 40-yard line. Oh, the key for Hubert, 191-pound back, was that first tackle he skipped out of. What could have been a 4-yard loss turns into a first down for the Wildcats.
That's right. K.J. Morton coming in on the blitz here, had him wrapped up for a 5-yard loss in the backfield, and those are the tackles you have to make, especially against this K-State team. If you can put them in long down and distance situations, 2nd and 15 is tough for this K-State offense to overcome.
Fresh downs at the 39-yard line of Baylor. Hubert again, straight up the middle, big running room, stacked up, drop, a pickup of 9. How about the holes by B.J. Finney, Cody Whitehair, Cornelius Lucas for Kansas State's front.
Well, this whole offensive line has been really pretty dominant for the Wildcats this year. Coming into the year, they had 75 combined starts, and they've started every single game this season together, totaling up to 100 starts for them. 2 first-team All-Big 12 players last year. This is the strength of this Kansas State offense.
Waters with short yardage, second down, call it 2. Just got the play off, quick throw near side, coming back to help, right on the hands of Kyle Klein inside the 20, move the chains, 1st and 10 at the 18.
Well, this is exactly the start that Kansas State needed. Answering back after a touchdown from Baylor. 2 of their biggest stars, their most explosive players out, and all they're doing is just chunking away. And what they're really doing is pushing this Baylor defensive line off the ball. They're dominating them up front right now.
That was the 4th reception for Kyle Klein. Yes, the younger brother of Colin Klein. There's a keeper. Waters follows his blockers, and he's cartwheeled down at the 11-yard line by the middle linebacker Hager.
Interesting to see Jake Waters running the ball like this. Daniel Sams is considered the better runner of the 2 quarterbacks that will play, and maybe Baylor's getting a little bit too aggressive, thinking that Jake won't pull the ball out and keep it. Well, you know what? You don't have to be a burner to take off on that wide open of a space.
Joey again, short yardage for Waters. He needs 3 yards to move the chains. Jumps to the line, change it up like a Peyton Manning play. Takes the snap, looks to the end zone, has man coverage, lobs it up top, and just overthrows, incomplete. He wanted Curry Sexton. That brings up 3rd down and 3.
This is a critical play for Kansas State. Baylor doesn't kick field goals very often, and if you're going to try and keep up with them on the scoreboard, you're going to have to score touchdowns when you get inside the red zone.
Hubert alongside Waters. Delay, draws it up the middle, close. They'll try to push his way, and now they push him back. They'll depend on where they put his forward progress. Joey's past the 10. They're going to mark him at the 9, and that will be a yard shy of the 1st down. Lackey, Ahmad Dixon in on that tackle.
Interesting call here for Coach Snyder.
Kansas State on the season 3 of 5 on 4th down conversions.
I agree with this call here. The way that Kansas State's offensive line has been pushing the Baylor D-line off the ball, you'd think they can get 1 yard here.
10th play of this drive. As Waters goes under center. Hands it off, stutter step, needed a yard. Don't think so. Lackey, Terrence Lloyd, the right end, filled the gap in a hurry. K-State gambles. They come up short. Baylor with the ball up by 7. Right here on Fox College Football.
Baylor's defense did a fantastic job on 4th down. They lead the country in tackles for loss. Their front 7, they get after it. And when you look at them on that particular 4th down, they did a great job reading their keys. Gronkowski, the ball usually follows the fullback. They got in the backfield. They knew exactly what Kansas State was going to do. I was very impressed with the way the defense rose up and made a big-time stop right there.
Now, Ryan, 41 TFLs, tackle for losses for Baylor coming in, and now they've got the football. They have that quick strike ability, and to the ground they go to start this drive, and they're going to mark the runner down, Seastrunk, at the 18-yard line.
Well, Ryan, that's a great point. Baylor's defense much improved from last year. Has 7 seniors coming back from last year's squad.
They pick up the 9, right off the right side. The big run by Seastrunk to the 32. He was running behind the left guard, Joey. Cyril Richardson. He's a mountain. 6'4", 340, a senior out of Fort Worth.
Yeah, 340 on a good day. This is a 2-time Big 12, all Big 12 player, All-American last year.
Petty rolls and fires. That ball was caught and dropped incomplete by Goodley. He is a sure-handed receiver with 21 receptions, and on cover was Dorian Roberts.
Well, there's no excuse for this. I know Antoine's going to get into the film room tomorrow, take a look at it, and be upset with himself. Just took his eyes off the ball.
We had 7 catches last week against West Virginia, 170 yards, a 61-yard touchdown. We got a flag far side, and that stops play.
Prior to the snap, False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Kelvin Palmer, the right tackle.
Craig, these little things add up. You go back to the last play in the drop by Goodley, and now you've got a penalty, false start on number 77 on the right tackle, just moving just a little bit before the snap. That's all it takes, and you go from second and short to second and long.
Second and 15. Seastrunk falls forward and gets at least 4 yards back. They'll mark it just inside the 30-yard line. Mike Moore. Crowd revved up. Play action, Petty pulls it down, throws it back up top, and that ball is caught, but short of the first down. Goodley had to come back for it at the 39-yard line.
You know what? That's what K-State is going to want to do all day. They said it to us in our meetings yesterday. They're not going to change their style of defense and try and reinvent their playbook just because they're playing Baylor. They are a quarters-type team, which means they're going to play 4 across, and they're going to keep everything in front of them. Force Baylor to drive down the field and not give up the big chunk plays, and that's what they did on that drive right there.
Spencer Roth, only his 8th punt of the season. He did not punt last week against West Virginia. Averages just under 49 yards a boot, and Ty Zimmerman's back to receive for Kansas State. Rushes on, kicks away. Zimmerman at the 22-yard line. That's where K-State will start their second drive with just over 4 minutes left in this opening quarter in Manhattan. 39-yard boot. Oh, there's rivalry between Baylor and Kansas State. You bet.
At Nebraska earlier in the year.
New quarterback, Daniel Sams. He can throw, he can run. So we saw Waters open this game. Sams would be at the 22-yard line on the second series for Kansas State. On a read option, he'll take the ball up the middle and pounds his way past the 25 to the 26-yard line. Glenn Gronkowski, the fullback, who is a wide body, number 48. Nice block to open up some room for Sams, who last week he did pass the ball well. He ran the ball extremely well in that tough loss at Oklahoma State. That's
right. Had a couple touchdown passes, went for 181 through the air, but had 3 interceptions. First time he's gone over 100 yards, going for 118 last week on the ground, but also had a fumble. They need to shore up those mistakes if they're going to be consistent on offense.
Sams, a sophomore out of Slidell, Louisiana. Again, wants to read that option, and he does. Cuts it, has room, far side. Here he goes. High steps at 40 and bounce out of bounds at the 45-yard line. K.J. Morton closed that edge in a hurry.
That was the play we saw a little bit earlier with Jake Waters, where he caught it, slow played that power. Look, here comes the backside guard opening up that hole. Earlier in the game, Jake Waters read it and threw the ball out to his wide receiver. This time, Daniel Sams, the better runner of the two, slow plays that pulling guard, gets in right behind him, and makes a big run up the sideline.
21 yards. You got to like that high step, huh? Little Deion Sanders on a Saturday afternoon.
I could never do that, Craig.
I know you can.
I can appreciate it. I can't do it.
Fresh downs for Kansas State. Again, reads it this time. Baylor just barrels over the front. Sam Hall, nice read, number 25, with the tackle to pick up a 2.
Well, he's been all over the place this year. He and Ahmad Dixon switched positions. They brought Sam Hall up into that nickel linebacker type position and moved Ahmad Dixon back to safety. And all Sam Hall has done is go for 2.5 sacks and a forced fumble this year. He's really been a guy that's gotten into the backfield when they're playing against opposing offenses.
The architect of this Baylor defense in his 3rd season is Phil Bennett. Now, very aggressive linebacking core, fast in the secondary with Dixon with 4.35 speed. Second down. Sam strings it out, finds a hole. He is horse collared down, flags out. That's going to stack on a few extra yards on that gain to the 39, and it was Ahmad Dixon who ran him down.
Personal foul. Horse collar tackle. Defense number 6. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
Daniel Sams did a really nice job here. Baylor strung out that option, and instead of just pitching it and giving up on it, he just said, fine, I'm going to cut it upfield, and you're going to have to stop me. Ahmad Dixon got a little bit aggressive, tried to make the tackle he could, but grabbed onto the back of that jersey for the penalty. It was a good call there.
13-yard gain plus the 15-yard penalty. K-State knocking on the door inside the 25-yard line. Down by 7. Under 2 minutes left, opening quarter here in Manhattan. Sams bounces outside, throws a stiff arm, can't hit the edge, and he's pushed out of bounds. Maybe a yard to the 23.
Baylor did a nice job there of keeping contained. They didn't let Daniel Sams get outside of him like they did on the quarterback power he ran earlier in the drive. Daniel Sams is an explosive player, and maybe the most explosive player for Kansas State on offense today.
Dixon was catching his breath. 5 carries, 40 yards now for Daniel Sams. Joey, a very important drive here late in the first quarter. Shut down their first time out on a 4th down and short. Kansas State with a great opportunity here. Now timeout. Sams wants to talk to Bill Snyder. Will step aside. Kansas State trying to tie this game against the Baylor Bears here on Fox. The pride of Wildcat Land. Beautiful Saturday afternoon in Manhattan, Kansas. 2nd down 9, Kansas State. Ball control. How about that? Those numbers surprise you?
You know what? This one doesn't surprise me right here. 740. Kansas State's going to control the ball, but it's that one right there. They've got more yards than Baylor does at this point. Yeah.
Here's a team that rolls in. We talked about their strike ability. They're scoring over 70 points a game. Nearly 780 yards of offense. Sams has room, finds it, hits the hole, 15-10, turns, and is ridden down hard at the 5-yard line. Oh, give a game ball to Gronkowski, who opened up a hole, and Sams wasted no time blasting through it.
Well, Sams got around the edge and ran an option on Sam Hall out there, whose responsibility was the pitch man. That was his job. He had to stay out and cover that pitch, and nobody came down the line of scrimmage to play quarterback. That was just a missed assignment by Baylor.
This drive has been all Sams. He came in as the leading rusher for Kansas State, 323 yards and nearly 6 yards a touch, Joey. He's got a 1st down goal inside the 5. Sams again on a nice cutback. Reaches out to the 1.
Well, we talked about it earlier, Craig, in our meetings leading up to this game. If Lockett and Thompson don't play, Sams has to be that explosive guy for the Kansas State offense. They need some sort of spark from Daniel Sams today if they can't get from their wide receivers.
If they can get this play on before the first quarter runs out. And there we go. Clock runs out. And they'll switch sides. Kansas State a yard away from tying 15th ranked Baylor. It's been Mr. Sams, Daniel Sams, on this drive. 7 carries, 62 yards. Baylor's in town, up by 7. Blue skies in Manhattan as we look at our Dodge stat comparison. Joey, what jumps out?
Right here, penalties. After that drop by Goodley, they had a 5-yard false start penalty, Baylor did, and that put them in a 2nd and long that they never recovered from on that drive.
At the 1-yard line, 2nd down goal. Sams under center. Oh, they push the pile. Touchdown, Wildcats. Sams with his 5th rushing touchdown. He was right behind number 48, Glenn Gronkowski, the fullback. Only the 3rd rushing touchdown allowed this season by Baylor's defense.
Yeah, we got a little Reggie Bush push there from Gronkowski. Kind of reminiscent of him pushing Matt Leinart into the end zone. Got a little shove, a little help from his friends from behind.
Jack Cantelli will try the PAT. 19 of 20, make it now 20 of 21, and Kansas State opens up the 2nd quarter. A little surprise, Art Briles pacing the sideline. Undefeated Baylor tied with Kansas State, 7-7.
Baylor kind of stole from us something that was, not promised, but very promising to us at the end of the season. I'm definitely waiting to get back to return the favor.
Linebacker Trey Walker, speaking of last year's loss in Waco that derailed Kansas State's national title hopes. They just went 78 yards, 8 plays, a 1-yard run by Sams. It was all Sams on that drive. We're tied at 7. Short kick, 10-yard line. Norwood hits the edge. Little stutter step, bounce down, 35-yard line. Time for a Lowe's Never Stop Improving game break.
Okay, hey, thanks very much. Number 19, Northwestern versus Wisconsin. Northwestern coming off that tough loss to Ohio State. They're down 7-3. Joel Stavia to Jared Abradera, 63 yards, 7-3 in the second quarter. Craig and Joey, back to you.
So 7-3 Wisconsin. Here at 7-7. Baylor, Kansas State. Usually during this time of the game, Baylor's got a comfortable four touchdown lead. They've got a ball game for the first time on the road. Seastrunk reaches, and they'll mark him at the 38.
Craig, they're not going to get as many possessions as they have in weeks past. Kansas State is a slow down, control the clock kind of team, and they can't afford to have the drops and the penalties that they did on their last drive.
Second down, 5, play action, quick throw. Near side, Norwood takes a shot, wrapped up, 41-yard line. Ryan Neese, there's a lot of emotion on that field, and after listening to Trey Walker's soundbite from talking about that loss to Baylor, there's emotion on the football field.
There's a ton of emotion. What you guys don't see in the stat line is the emotion and the heart, the intensity that these guys are playing with. Offensively and defensively, Kansas State is flying around.
Oh, listen to this crowd as they drop Glasgow Martin. Oh, from our angle, looks to be just shy of a first down.
You have to see where they spot this, but Glasgow got hit and continued to drive his legs to make this closer. I think they're going to measure this one, Craig.
Too close to call. I'm going to guess an inch or 2.
I was going to say about a chain or 2 short on this one.
Chain gain is called out. How about six links?
Watch Glasgow get hit in the backfield and just drive his legs. Not quite enough to get up to that first down marker.
First player to meet him, Blake Slaughter, who redshirted last year, as he watched Arthur Brown become the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. He averages 8 stops a game, Joey. Big stop there, and this crowd is in it.
That's right. Blake Slaughter wouldn't go as far as Trey Walker in saying this is a payback game, but boy, was he revved up and ready to play yesterday.
Petty went over the top. Got a flag. So no flag. They'll pick it up. And a first down, 44-yard line. Petty on a throw, far side. Oh, what a block. And opens up a little space for Tevin Reese. And a cat is flat on his back at the 41. The hit coming.
Craig, there's a big emphasis on targeting, concussions, player safety. But from that view, that replay, it looked like he hit with his shoulder.
Chip Daly, senior, College Station, Texas. He's been getting a lot of playing time at quarter along with Randall Evans, but there's a shot, shoulder pad high.
That's a borderline call by rule. By rule, that's a They say targeting is leading with the crown of your helmet to any part of the defenseless person's body, or leading with any part of your body at the head area. That was with the shoulder, at the neck, shoulder. I mean, that was a borderline call there.
Big hit, crowd with a roar of boos for Corey Coleman, redshirt freshman out of Richardson, Texas. You notice who was on the field to make sure Kip Daly was okay, the head coach. Bill Snyder made that long walk across the field. First and 10, Baylor Bears. 7-7 game here in Manhattan. High snap, it's off the hand of Petty. Picked up, Seastrom. Dropped at the 45. It was Ty Zimmerman who chased down Lake Seastrom. And a rare miscue by Baylor.
Well, that one wasn't even close. Bryce Petty had no chance on that. It just flew right by his right shoulder. It was a good job of just collecting the ball and trying to get what they could out of it. But what it does, it brings this Kansas State crowd right back into the mix here, Craig.
A loss of 12, second down, 22. Petty pumps once, throws it flat. Norwood races at the 40-yard line. Baylor gets a big chunk back. And Joey, the old gunslinger you are, Petty pumped. He wanted a deep ball.
Well, what it did, he pumped that quick screen that they run so often, and then ran two receivers deep to clear it out, and Kansas State ran with them. They're not going to let anything get behind them, but what it did is open up a huge hole right there in the flat to pick up a big chunk of yardage there.
Timeout, Baylor. Petty heads to the sideline. Some confusion. He's 6 of 8 for 74 yards. 7-7 on Fox. It is the Big 12 Conference. It's Baylor, Kansas State here on Fox. Third down 9 as Petty glances at the sideline. Glasgow Martin, the running back alongside Petty. Listen to this crowd on third down. Complete, reaching is Tevin Reese. But a flag late, tossed at the 28-yard line. Crowds applauding. Look like this one's coming back. Here's Bill Snyder. Had an interesting talk yesterday.
During a run, illegal block in the back. Offense number 68. 10-yard penalty. Replay third down.
Big miscue for our Bryles and Baylor, but getting back to Snyder, a happy birthday to the coach who turned 74 young on Monday. 74, still going strong. Brings the ball back to the 40. Again, third down. 5 wide. Petty throws and the ball dropped. Tevin Reese, first down at the 28. Ball comes out and it's fourth down.
And that's twice now we've seen Baylor's best two wide receivers, Antoine Goodley on the last drive and Tevin Reese here, just get their head upfield before they have the ball secured. Small mistakes in a game like this when you're playing Kansas State, who's not going to give you a whole lot of opportunities. He just took his eyes off the ball. Nobody around him. And you have to make that catch, especially on third and long.
Frustration by Petty, and now Spencer Roth for the second time this half is in to punt the ball away at the 50 with a high boot. Tries to drop it inside the 10. He does, takes a bounce, and it rolls, and a touchback. Kansas State will have it. 11. That's Pat Colbert, number 69, trying to lend a hand of encouragement, Joey, to Tevin Reese. And Ryan, this is something we don't see that Baylor hasn't seen. That's a little adversity right now.
Adversity right now, Craig, you're absolutely right. And Bryce Petty earlier this week said, we're the butt team. We score a lot of points, but we haven't played anybody but. Now they have the opportunity to play against some adversity and try to find a way to quiet some of those critics.
Kansas State with the ball. They'll start at the 20-yard line. Fresh down, 7-7 tie. Sams was dynamite on the last series. He throws. Is that a catch? 42-yard line. Zach Trujillo, the tight end, had to come back and really help the quarterback.
What a catch. Daniel Sams outside of the pocket had him wide open running down the field if he puts it in front of him. Instead, throws on his back shoulder, and he makes an incredible catch to get Kansas State out of deep in their own territory.
They pick up a 21. First and 10, 41-yard line. Double tight set, 2 wide receivers near side. Sams wants to cut upfield, spins out, maybe a yard to the 42, Terrell Burt. Stretch that offense of Kansas State and knock down Sams. Kansas State minus a couple of their talented wide receivers. Tyler Lockett did warm up, so did Tremaine Thompson. Lockett with a hamstring. Thompson did not play last week at Oklahoma State because of illness, and Sams has been a big factor offensively. He'll set and throw, far side, on the catch at the 45. That's 3 yards the hard way as Terrell Miller came up with the grab.
Really nice protection in there by John Huber. Picked up the blitz coming from the inside A gap, right up the center.
Joey, that is a tough pass. That's a 3-yard gain, but about a 20-yard throw off the hand of Sams.
Well, when you have pressure coming up the middle like that, you've got one-on-one coverage on the outside, and if you can deliver a ball to the right spot, it gives your receiver a chance to make a move on a guy out in space.
Sams shotgun, 3rd down, 5. They'll stand in the pocket, throw. There's a bump. Crowd wants a flag. Nothing. No yellow comes out of the back pocket. Dimitri Goodson providing coverage on Curry Sexton, number 14.
Well, good no call. DB was in tight coverage, but didn't get his arms in there. In fact, you can see him pull off there, didn't even try and put his hands up to make the play because Sams missed the throw on the wrong side of the receiver. I mentioned it on the throw before. If you put it in the right spot, you can give your receiver a chance to make extra yardage. This time he had to put the ball on the other shoulder just to get a completion.
Punts up. Big boot takes a kick back at the 5, and Kansas State special teams. They cover up at the 4-yard line. What a boot by Krause of 53 yards. He slammed a sandwich in there at the 5-yard line. And Baylor will start deep in their own territory at the 5. Tonight, it's game 1 of the American League Championship Series as the Tigers take on the Red Sox. Both teams try to take one step a little closer to the World Series. Legends are born in October, and our coverage of baseball's postseason begins tonight following football with game 1 of the ALCS right here on Fox. Baylor 1st and 10, 5-yard line. 3 wide receivers near side, 2 up top. As Petty now hauls the ball down, tries the middle. He's stuffed and dropped at the 6-yard line.
You know, Craig, I've been really impressed with this defense up at this point. Everybody we've talked to this season, we've had Baylor a couple times that said, we're just going to force Baylor to keep the ball in front of us. We're going to play coverage, not let them get deep. Well, Kansas State's been able to do that so far today.
Petty in the pocket, wants the deep ball, has a streaking Kevin Reese, and he's racing. That could be the one, and a touchdown Baylor.
Did I say they've been able to keep him in front of him today?
You just did.
Until now.
Until one play later, and it's over the top. Reese, who was consoled on the sideline, just went 93 yards.
He goes 93. 93 is more than 40, right? Last time I checked. That's Tevin Reese's 21st touchdown of his career, and 19 of them have gone for more than 40 yards. Tevin Reese is a big play machine.
He had the drop. Pat Colbert, the left tackle, consoled him. He comes back off the bench and takes it 93 yards from Bryce Petty. That is the quick strike offense we've seen throughout the season of the Baylor Bears. Good for over 70 points a game. They go 93 in a blink of an eye and lead by 7. Well, a moment ago we saw Reese dejected, now dancing along the sideline after going 93 yards.
I'd be feeling that way too if I went 93. Actually, no, I'd be with the oxygen machine on the sideline if I went 93.
And the stat there is staggering. 15th time on a touchdown drive over a minute this season for Baylor. That drive, 2 plays, 34 seconds, and Baylor's in the end zone.
Well, they've now had 37 touchdown drives on the season, and 30 of them have been under 2 minutes. This is a quick strike offense. A lot of teams care about time of possession. Baylor doesn't even look at it.
Longest pass of the season, Petty. Reese, a career-long reception, 93 yards, and that ball is dropped by Hubert.
Hey,
So
Craig,
it's spreading the field.
that's right. We talked about how K-State's going to play quarters coverage. They have 4 guys deep. What that does is this guy is going to be locked up on anything vertical. And as he goes, this post is going to go right over the top. Take a look at Ty Zimmerman, who plays his coverage correctly, but gets eaten up on that inside receiver, sits on number 2 vertical. Taven Reese goes right over the top. It's the what's the word I'm looking for? The problem with playing a coverage like this is you're going to keep everything in front until you get that play designed correctly, and that's what Baylor did.
And history continues of 7 in a row. Through the air. Now Jake Waters is going to jump back on the field after Daniel Sams has moved this Kansas State offense very well in the first half. Hubert knocked down pad high at the 29-yard line. B.J. Finney, the center out front, throwing a block for Hubert.
How about B.J. Finney? What a great story about that young man. A walk-on as a freshman. His mom essentially said, hey, you know what? We can pay for 1 year of school. You got to go out and earn yourself a scholarship after that. And that's what he did. Came on and has started every single game of his career. Just the epitome of this Kansas State football team.
Now he walked on and earned that scholarship, and he is steady as she goes in the middle for Kansas State. 2nd down 5. Waters on a read. Cuts it. Has room. Oh, he is hit on top of the hat. Looked like a face mask. No flag comes out at the 34-yard line.
Jake Waters did a really nice job of following his fullback through there. Baylor stretched the play out to the sideline, stretched it. Gronkowski found a hole and got up inside. And Jake Waters just followed him almost to the first down marker.
Sams just jumped back on the field for Bill Snyder. Big 3rd down here for Kansas State. Sams reads it off the right side, finds the first down and more. Breaks a tackle, watch out. Here he goes, 30, 35-yard line, bumped out of bounds. Zach Nemechek, number 89, was on the field and threw a beautiful block for Sams.
And they did it again. They ran this power. Pulling the backside guard. Sams gets in behind his big fullback and the big pulling guard and was just patient, waiting for the hole to open up, and then exploded through it. Daniel Sams is the most explosive player on this field right now for Kansas State.
32-yard pickup. Ball is on the Baylor 34-yard line, nearing 100 yards. He's got 96 on 10 carries here in the first half. Hubert, maybe 3. And boy, the second effort. Thought he was stopped around the 32. He gets to the 30-yard line. Hubert is known, Joey, more for east-west. They want to run him north-south.
Well, yeah, when you have a guy like Daniel Sams who opens up the holes that you have to be aware of sideline to sideline, that makes the holes bigger for John Hubert to run through. He was a great complementary back to Colin Klein last year, who was your power guy. He needs someone to help open those holes for him, and Sams has been doing that.
Hubert alongside Sams on 2nd down. Sams again on the read option, powers his way, pushes the pile near a first down, past the 25-yard line. So that will bring up 3rd down and short. Ball just past the 25. Under 6 minutes left, first half. Bill Snyder making constant substitutions between his fullbacks Gronkowski and Nemechek, tight ends McDonald and Trujillo. Sam's again wants to run. Flags out.
And if this is a false start, it's going to be a costly penalty.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 18. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Andre McDonald, the senior tight end.
Here you go, right on the right side, top of your screen here. He's just going to move a fraction of a second. That's all it takes. Just resetting his stance. Didn't even fire out, but resetting. Once you put your hand down, you cannot make any quick movements.
So wipe away the first down. Now 3rd down and 6 for Kansas State. Sam's on an option. Now he's got room far side. Has a little skip move. How about the wiggle at the 25? 1st and 10 Wildcats.
And here's why it's so important. Ooh, boy, what a nice shake outside.
That's one of your dance steps back in the old days.
No. Okay, maybe. Chris McAllister, the backside defensive end, the play is going away from him. And what does he do? He starts chasing down the line of scrimmage. Well, when Daniel Sams reverses his field, he's now lost contain, and he allows him to get outside. You have to play your responsibility when you play a running quarterback like that. You cannot veer from that responsibility.
Sam's now a 100-yard rusher on the day, 12 carries, 109 yards, and looking for more. Finds a little slice at the 15, 10, down to the 8-yard line. And he's running with power along with that speed.
Daniel Sams is this Kansas State offense right now. He's doing a fantastic job of not only getting to the outside and making plays in space, but he's being that inside runner. He's being that power guy, following his blocks, putting his shoulder down on DBs.
Now 123 yards, a career high on 12 carries, over 9 yards a touch, and a touchdown in the first quarter. Make that the start of the second. Looks like he's beat up a little bit, needs a breather. And we'll keep it here. And the first out to meet him is Jake Waters, her roommates, by the way. Sams and Waters. They've handled this cohabitation, Joey, at quarterback very well.
Yeah, they have. They've been extremely supportive of one another, which is a tough thing to do. I've been in those situations where there's 2 quarterbacks vying for the same job, and you both want to be on the field. It's a competitive situation. Everybody out here is a competitor, and they want to play. But the way they've supported each other, being each other's sounding board, has been very admirable.
Moving that left shoulder, Daniel Sams took a pretty wicked hit last time he had the football. 4 minutes left. Kansas State trying to tie this game up. 220 total yards of offense in this first half of the Wildcats. And Sams 123 on the ground, 28 through the air.
You know, this reminds me of, Craig, is the first time that Colin Klein came into a ball game against Texas a few years ago. Only threw about 4 passes, but he didn't need to because they were running the ball so well with him.
8th play of this drive. 1st and goal, Kansas State at the 8-yard line. Sams again on an option read and slips through a couple of tackles, maybe a yard up to the 7-yard line.
And then, you know what, Baylor did a very good job of playing their responsibilities on that. When you run the option, and when you're defending an option team, one defender has to take the quarterback. The next defender has to take the pitchman. There you see it right there. Chris McAllister stays right on his responsibility and puts his nose right in Daniel Sams' chest, while Lackey came and scraped along the backside for the pitchman. You have to stay true to your responsibilities if you play an option team.
3 wide receivers line up near side. 2nd down goal. What a fake it was as Hager stayed home up the middle and dropped Sams after that play fake. And, well, after that ball was in the belly of Hubert.
Well, right, you said it exactly right. He stayed home. He didn't follow the play fake. Watch the fake, goes right in front of him, and Hager stays there knowing his responsibility is to take the quarterback. You see the big chunks of yardage happen when you don't stay in your gaps, when you abandon your responsibility and try to make the play.
Hager, a junior out of Austin, Texas, a fine one in the middle for Baylor. Third down goal. Clock is under 3 minutes left in the half. Sams wants to throw all day. Tucks now runs, has room at the 10. Now slings it, throws it away, incomplete.
Those last 3 plays for Baylor on defense were the most assignment sound they've done all day. We've seen it a couple times. Guys coming down off of the pitch and trying to take the quarterback. Chris McAllister losing contain on the backside. This time they do a great job of coverage on the backside, forcing Sams out of the pocket and staying with coverage down the field. Play your responsibility and good things will happen. 8
returning starters on this Baylor defense. This will be a 24-yard field goal attempt, and the kick is up by Jack Cantelli, and the Cats get 3 off the drive. 14-10 Baylor, 2.5 to play. First half in Manhattan. Baylor, runaway wins, Joey, so far this season, but they're in a battle on the road. First road game away from Waco.
Yeah, they are. There's a little bit of adversity that they've had to face here in the first quarter, but I really like what they've done on the last 3 plays on defense there. They finally stuck to their responsibility. Ryan, you know all about playing in that Tampa 2 responsibility-heavy defense. What do they have to do to continue to play like this?
Well, the key word is trust, Joey. Monty Kiffin, the defensive coordinator, would always tell us you have to trust your teammates. You have to trust that they're going to make the play. As soon as you try to get greedy, as soon as you try to do something you shouldn't do, that's when you get beat, especially against the team that runs the option. You made great points. You got to line up, you got to know your responsibilities, and you got to trust your teammates.
Patterson tees up 35. Kicks it short, 20-yard line. Norwood hits a wall of purple and dropped. Halftime just around the corner. Let's go on to Rob Stone with a preview here in Los Angeles.
Coming up on the Pizza Hut halftime show, it was a revenge-filled Red River rivalry. We highlight a pair of SEC meetings that are really going to shake up the rankings, and number 2 Oregon getting pushed at Washington. We'll see you at the break.
All right, thank you, Rob. Yeah, just around the corner. Interesting early day of college football.
I'm telling you, this Washington-Oregon game, as an Oregon fan, as an Oregon alum, that one makes me nervous.
Last time Baylor struck in a hurry. This time C-Strunk tries to hit the edge. K-State strings it, and they string it out nicely. Randall Evans was right there on the edge. That's where C-Strunk is so dangerous. That's why he's averaging 147 yards a game, because when he hits that edge, he's able to turn it upfield.
Well, he had a big one last week against West Virginia, the Big 12 Player of the Week last year. Hit a big 80-yarder against them last week.
Petty throws, finds the seam on the hands of Goodley. Watch out, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Baylor.
And it only takes a moment. You blink and you miss it. That is why this Baylor offense is so explosive, because if you cover one guy, you take away Lake C-Strunk, then you're committing one extra guy to the run, and you can't get back to cover Antoine Goodley and Tevin Reese. You can't do both, Craig. That's why it's so tough to defend Baylor, because if you come up and stop the run, you leave yourself vulnerable on the backside, and if you stay back and cover the receivers, then Lake C-Strunk beats you all day. Pick your poison.
Boy, the field was wide open. They find space with this spread offense of Baylor. They show but don't tell. That's the word of Art Briles. You try to pick his brain about stacking the wide receivers on top of the numbers, and he won't tell you much, but he shows you.
Yeah, they show you on Saturdays between about noon and 7 p.m. I mean, it's fun to watch, because Art Briles and his coaching staff, they push the envelope. They're not afraid to say, they're not afraid to buck the trend and go against what may be taught at a lot of other schools. They want to do what they think is best, and they're not afraid to go in the face of tradition.
Reese went 93 yards to make it 14-7. K-State answers with a field goal off the foot of Cantelli, and now a 72-yard bomb, and it's 21-10 Baylor, under 2 minutes left in this first half.
Well, Craig, I mentioned it earlier on Kansas State's first drive when they got stopped on 4th and 1 there deep in the red zone. You cannot afford to come out of the red zone with either a field goal or no points, because Baylor is inevitably going to score touchdowns. You have to score touchdowns to keep up with them. And that last drive for Kansas State, where they only got a field goal, really is going to hurt them.
Bryce Petty told us, look, I just operate this offense, plain and simple.
I love that description.
I did too, yeah. Very interesting the way he approaches his responsibilities. Well, he's got so many weapons. 2 quick strikes here in the second quarter. Baylor up 21-10. Kick goes out of the end zone, and a touchback for Kansas State. Time for a game break. Let's go to LA, and here's Patrick O'Neill.
All right, Craig, thanks. Third-ranked Clemson, unbeaten at 5-0, but trailing Boston College 7-0. This is Miles Willis hitting the corner. He gets in for the touchdown. Late second quarter, and Clemson hopefully not looking ahead to Florida State next week. Craig and Joey, back to you.
Yeah, interesting, Patrick. It's easy to look ahead, and that's one thing coaches have to be worried about.
Especially when you get on a roll. When you start to feel a little bit invincible. Remember, these kids are just 18, 19, 20 years old. They feel a little invincible every once in a while.
Sams takes a breather. Waters now quarterbacking for Bill Snyder with 1:51 before halftime. Flush from the pocket on the run, throws, and just through the hands, incomplete, of Kyle Klein. Last week, 3 catches for 34 yards against the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. That stops the clock. 1:45 remaining. Second down at the 25.
Well, against most teams, you don't think this, but you have to be careful. If you're throwing the ball every time, you're stopping the clock. And you don't want to give this ball back to Baylor with too much time left on the clock here in the first half.
From the shotgun, Waters, good protection, throw. That ball is up and nearly intercepted, but Klein took a hard hit. He was cartwheeled down just inside the 40-yard line.
I mentioned it a little earlier with Sams and the 2 short balls he threw on the wrong shoulder. This time a little bit too high to Klein. You have to be extremely accurate against aggressive defenses on where you put the ball, and that's the difference. You bring that ball down a foot or 2 and you got yourself a first down.
Third down from the 25. Waters dances out of the pocket, flags out, and slides down at the 20-yard line, but a flag is out inside the 20-yard line. And back there, when a quarterback's in trouble, first thought is a hold.
Holding offense number 73. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
Tavon Rooks, the right tackle. And you make an interesting point, Joey. 1:32, you don't think's a lot of time for most teams. For Baylor, it's a lifetime.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. How many touchdown drives under 1 minute? 30 of their 37 have come under 2 minutes. This is just an average amount of time to work for this Baylor offense. And I almost would have considered running the football there on 3rd and long, at least forcing Baylor to use a timeout to try and stop this clock and give them less to work with.
If you talk about Baylor, 26 plays on their first 3 drives, 116 yards, produced 7 points. The last 2, Joey, 4 plays, they go 168 yards and score twice. They're going to get the ball back with 1:32.
And they're going to get the ball back with good field position. They've got 93. They went 93 yards in 2 plays. And if they're only working with a half a field, a minute and a half is going to be plenty of time.
Kraus, oh, beautiful punt. High hanger, fair catch, 31-yard line. Petty ready to go back to work with a 21-10 lead. Sets and throws. Little pitch and catch. Reese turns and he's triple teamed down at the 43-yard line.
I like what Tevin Reese did there. He thought about getting out towards the sideline. You saw him spin and head lateral. Instead, he said, nope, put your head down and get up and get that first down.
Baylor has that hurry-up offense. They're hurrying a little more right now as the clock with a minute 17. Petty flush from the pocket, drops it out of bounds. That stops the clock. A minute 11 remaining. Well, he's a polished young man. He has learned well. He said he didn't like waiting behind Robert Griffin III, Nick Florence, but he learned a lot.
I loved what he said. He learned how to be a leader from Robert Griffin. He learned how to prepare from Nick Florence. But he said, I don't want to be Robert or Nick. I want to be Bryce. I want to be me and use those experiences with what I have as a skill set.
Low snap. Petty handles it, stands high in the pocket, throws. It's incomplete. Petty this quarter, Joey, 215 yards through the air. A minute 6 left on the clock. 3rd down 10. No timeouts for Baylor. Kansas State with 1 if needed. Three wide receivers, top of your screen, 2 down low. Pressure from the edge. Petty stands up in the pocket. Ball nearly intercepted. Jonathan Truman, the weak side Will linebacker. Joey nearly stepped in and had a good look at a pick 6.
You know what? Bryce Petty and his receivers seemed a little bit off on that series. We saw Bryce Petty the play before going over and giving some hand signals, maybe saying the wide receiver shouldn't have been in that position. This time Goodley and Bryce Petty weren't quite on the same page. I'm sure they'll get that figured out at halftime.
Roth will punt for the 3rd time this half. And Zimmerman back at his own 15-yard line. Big punt inside the 10 at the 8. And that's where K-State will start the drive with just under a minute remaining. This Baylor offense has been outstanding recently. In 2010, Joey, they led the FBS with over 560 yards per game. A year later, Robert Griffin III won the Heisman. Nick Florence then jumped aboard, led the FBS in passing yards last season. This season, Nick Petty leads in yards per completion. Yeah, Art Briles has had a tremendous run behind center.
What's so impressive about this Baylor offense right now is it's not just through the air. They're number 1 in total offense. Like we said, almost 800 yards a game, 779. But they're first in passing with 432. They're second in rushing with 347 a game. If you shut down one aspect, they can just simply turn on the other.
Kansas State just used their final timeout of the half. It's a 30-second timeout. Now remember, Kansas State, Joey, will have the ball to start the second half. Baylor won the toss, and no surprise, Art Briles took advantage and had the football to start this game.
Well, that opening drive of the second half is going to be a real determinant of the direction that this game goes. If Kansas State can move the ball down the field and get some points, get within it, make it a 1-score ball game, then you're going to continue to keep the pressure on Baylor. As long as it's a 1-score ball game, you're in the mix. But if they go 3 and out or half the punt and give the ball back to Baylor, and Baylor gets another touchdown, now you're down 18, and now you shift gears as an offense. Start feeling like you have to throw the ball, have to move things, start pressing, and that's when the game gets out of control.
So after that timeout, Bill Snyder decides to play it safe and take the opportunity to kind of restart the engine in the second half. And by the way, Kansas State has scored a touchdown, Joey, on their first possession of the second half in 4 of the 5 games this season. That means they come out. A little talk usually helps, doesn't it, from Bill Snyder and the rest of the coaching staff?
Oh, I'm sure they're great at halftime adjustments. Bill Snyder, the way he not only turned around this program, I mean,
not once but twice.
Exactly. He can make the adjustments needed at halftime.
Final seconds ticking down. Art Briles will go to the locker room up on the road 21-10. Bill Snyder will go to work to try to figure out how to turn this game back to the Wildcats' favor. It is halftime. The score, Baylor 21, Kansas State 10. We now go to Rob Stone, Eddie George, and Joel Klatt in L.A. for the Pizza Hut halftime. Welcome back to Fox College Football, presented by Geico. Beautiful October afternoon here in Manhattan, Kansas. They call it the Little Apple. Craig Bolerjack along with Joey Harrington. And Joey, look at this halftime score of 21-10. We've done a couple of Baylor games this year. This is the closest any opponent has been at halftime against Baylor.
Well, yeah, and I think part of that is how well Kansas State is playing on defense and keeping most everything in front of them. But also, Baylor's making some uncharacteristic mistakes. A few penalties, a few drops by Tevin Reese and Antoine Goodley have really added up to slowed drives and slowed momentum for Baylor. Early on in the game, like I said, Goodley dropped one. Tevin Reese dropped one. But after a little encouragement from his teammates on the sideline, what does he do? He comes back out and catches his 19th touchdown of his career for over 40 yards, going 93 for the score. Tevin Reese and Antoine Goodley need to continue to create big plays. But if you're Kansas State on offense, keep feeding the beast. Keep giving it to Daniel Sams. When you run your quarterback well, you give yourself an extra blocker because defenses don't account for the quarterback being a runner. However, it exposes your quarterbacks to big hits. And I don't know if Daniel Sams didn't come back out for that last drive of the first half because he was injured or whether Jake Waters was the better passer and you wanted to run a better 2-minute drill. Either way, he took a big shot there at the end of the first half, and I'm interested to see if that's going to affect his playing time in the second.
Important note, Kansas State will have the football to start this second half. So important to get some points on the board against the explosive Baylor Bears, and that kick is away and no return, 9 yards deep. And so Kansas State will have the football as we start this third quarter. Let's go downstairs and get a word from Ryan.
Craig and Joey, I had an opportunity to talk to Coach Bill Snyder on the way into half. He said defensively we're playing well, all except for 4 plays. We got to do a better job in our coverage. Offensively, they got to continue to move the ball down the field and score when the opportunity is in front of them. Now I had a chance to talk to Art Briles on the way back into half, and he also said, hey, we got to eliminate the mistakes, eliminate the penalties, and defensively we got to stop this running quarterback. If we do that and give our ball back to the offense, we got a chance here.
All right, thank you, Ryan. They're going to start with Waters as we start the third quarter. Waters wants to throw. He does on first down. Was a football move. They're going to call it incomplete. Gronkowski tried to turn it upfield, and he was hit, and the ball came out incomplete. Ahmad Dixon likes to deliver those big blows, and he just did. Joey, here are the second half strategies brought to you by Valvoline. 140 years under the hood.
Well, that's right. Coach Briles said it. Eliminate mistakes. Dropped passes and penalties have kept Baylor from really getting any sort of momentum. And then you got to continue to run the ball with Sams. He's been your only explosive player on offense if you're Kansas State.
Waters took the first snap. Now Sams is back on the field. So maybe that answers the question. Was he shaken up in that second half? He's got in the second quarter, he's got the ball and is tackled at the 31-yard line.
Well, you could have driven a truck through that hole there, Craig.
Big.
That offensive line for Kansas State started the game by overpowering the Baylor defensive line. Look at the hole created here. I could run through that thing. You could have fit 2 Gronkowskis through, and then Daniel Sams just picks a spot. Maybe not. I couldn't have run through that.
Kansas State on this afternoon, 2 of 6 on third down conversions. Third down and 4. Play clock runs down to 3, down to 2. Just got the snap away as Sam sets and throws. Tough pass across the field, and the catch made close to a first down right at the 35-yard line. That was a tough throw. Big catch by Curry Sexton.
Yes, it was. And if Daniel Sam's shoulder was hurting after that tackle in the first half, he didn't show it there. That's a tough throw all the way across the field on an out route by your slot receiver. You got to have some juice on it, so Daniel's shoulder must be feeling all right.
Well, first down, Kansas State. Just past the 35. Opening drive here in the third quarter. Delayed draw. Here comes Huber. He's got room. Turns on the Jets. 50. He's at the 45 and spins inside at the 44-yard line.
This is exactly what Baylor did on defense to start the first half. You lost contain. Watch Ahmad Dixon coming off the edge here. He gets all the way inside and doesn't force John Hubert into his help. He allows him to get outside, break towards the sideline where he doesn't have any help from his defenders. They need, if you're Baylor, you have to continue to play sound responsibility football like you did on the last 3 plays of that drive late in the second quarter. That's the only way they've stopped them.
Hubert just picked up 20 yards. First down, Wildcats at the Baylor 44. 4 wide receivers, 3 bottom of your schemes, and now we've got a timeout. We'll take a timeout. Step aside. Baylor 21-10. Kansas State moving the football.
Hey, Craig, watch Coach Bennett here, defensive coordinator, telling Ahmad Dixon you have to play a responsibility. Keep contained. Here's what he's talking about. Ahmad Dixon needs to stay outside. Force John Hubert to go in towards all his defenders. Instead, he gets outside, loses contain, and that's what's creating the big plays for Kansas State. Is Baylor's defense is losing contain and losing focus on their responsibilities.
First down, Sams. Again, patient. Oh, what a cut. Ball came out. Was there a whistle? And Sams is slow. He's on 2 knees. K.J. Morton made a big hit, and that ball came out.
Craig, that ball came out. That was a fumble, and Daniel Sams is hanging that right shoulder like he did late in the first half there.
Sams comes out. Jake Waters. And he's still holding that shoulder to the sideline. Well, he took another shot, Joey. Two big hits on that right throwing arm of Sams. Waters trots on, shotgun, second down. On a read option, he'll take it up the gut. Falls forward to the 35. He's hit by Lackey. Weak side linebacker out of Marietta, California.
Well, there's the difference between Sams and Waters, Craig. Big hole that Sams would have run for a first down. Instead, Waters, who's a better passer but not as good a runner, comes up just short of the first down, and now you've got a critical third down here on the first drive for Kansas State in this half.
Waters on third down and 2. Gets the ball to Hubert. Forward progress looks close to a first down. And just as Waters took that snap, Joey, we watched Daniel Sams make his way to the locker room.
And he's hanging those shoulders. You never want to speculate about what an injury is.
Well, it's both. It looks like right and left.
Absolutely.
Just enough for a first down, so the drive continues for Kansas State. And the clock runs up on 1:30 remaining. And line up on a double tight set with McDonald and Trujillo. Flag, did he get the timeout? Nope, they did not. Well, the flag came out. They did get the timeout. You saw the frustrations with Waters as he tried to change it up. And we'll step aside. K-State uses a timeout. 21-10 Baylor on Fox. Right. Fox College Football is sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. That's where they used to play. on Saturday. The old stadium, the old gridiron here on the campus of Kansas State.
What's it called, Craig?
The old stadium.
It's just called the old stadium.
Stadium.
Old stadium. They keep it simple here, huh?
Yeah. Right on campus, Ahern Fieldhouse, close by. Let's Go Places, sponsored by Toyota. $11-12 remaining third quarter. Only one timeout, Joey, remaining for Kansas State in this game. They've had to burn a couple early here in the first few minutes of the third quarter.
But they had to burn them both on play clock near violations.
Handoff, Hubert dances outside. Jitter step, he stacked up, dropped 32-yard line. Hubert, Waco, Texas, Midway High School. Yeah, they know him well down Texas way.
Yeah, they do, and they know him well all around this Big 12. He's had a couple fantastic years, nearly 1,000 yards each of the last 2 seasons as the backfield mate to Colin Klein.
Yeah, those are teammates, Ahmad Dixon, Midway High School. When Hubert comes to town, there's always a lot of talk between those two. Watch out, Waters, 10. Knocked down 8-yard line. What a beautiful play action fake. The handoff was going into the belly of Hubert, and boy, Waters took off untouched.
And again, play your responsibility. The backside contained, went chasing with John Hubert on the fake across the field, and it let Jake Waters sneak out the backside with nobody there. Baylor's defense has to play their responsibilities or they're going to continue to give up these big chunks.
This is a perfect drive that Bill Snyder and the Cats needed to open up the second half. A 24-yard pickup. This is the 9th play of this drive. Hubert runs out of trouble, trying to gather his feet, and he slips down. Lackey made the initial hit. And the loss takes Kansas State back to the 18-yard line. Time to look at our stat comparison brought to you by KFC, the official sponsor of couch gating. KFC plus football equals couch gating.
That's the stat right there you got to pay attention to. Bryce Petty throws the ball all over the place. But Daniel Sams, if he's out of this ball game, you lose your only explosive threat so far for Kansas State on offense.
Second down goal, 3 wide receivers set. Again, play clock under 5. There's a little pitch out. And Hubert is ridden out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
Now, that was a good job of playing assignment football if you're Baylor's defense. Terrence Lloyd stayed right there at defensive end, slow played the quarterback, but stayed on Jake Waters and forced him to pitch it. Allowed the safety to come up and make the tackle. Instead of trying to do everything himself, he turned it over to his teammates and trusted that they were going to do their job.
Third down and goal, 15 yards from the end zone. Waters from the shotgun stands tall, has time. Now tucks and runs, has room, throws off the back foot, and it's out of the end zone. That brings up fourth down. Terrell Miller, the intended receiver. And Joey, for a moment, there was an alley, but Baylor, well, they ran up quickly on Jake Waters.
Yeah, they did. Baylor's not an overpowering defense, but they are fast. These guys can run. We mentioned it earlier, Sam Hall and Ahmad Dixon switching places. Ahmad going back into that safety position. These guys can make up some ground in a heartbeat.
This will be a 32-yard attempt by Cantelli. He hit one from 24 in the second quarter. Snaps so down, and the kick is away, and it's good. Cantelli 2 for 2 on the day. And Kansas State narrows the margin to 20. Personality he is. Lake Seastrunk, Big 12 Player of the Week. 172 yards last week against West Virginia, Joey, in just 1/2 of play. And you know what? It's probably time to put him on your list. The Heisman, and he does not fear being in that mix of Heisman talk.
Nope, not at all. And that's what I love. As he said before the season, talk about me for the Heisman. Go ahead, throw it on my shoulders. I'll take the pressure. I want to be in that position. And that's the type of guy that's going to carry a team. You know, someone who doesn't back away from pressure. He's a great kid and has had a phenomenal season up until this point.
Made a stop at Oregon. He was a little impatient, made the move to Baylor, and he found a home in Waco. Petty throws the ball up high on the catch is Goodley, and he's knocked out 37-yard line. Well, you strike the pose. Number 7 in the FBS, 147 games. How about 11.1 yards a touch? I mean, he is a remarkable talent. We've got a flag out. They're going to move the ball back, Joey, to the 22, illegal man downfield. But I like the fact when we talked to Seastrong, who's an energetic young man who said, as you said, you know, I'll take the pressure. I'll be the guy. 1st and 15. Gets the carry, makes a cut, sheds a couple of tacklers, and pulls his way to the 30-yard line. Ryan, I know you like Lake Seastrong.
I definitely like Lake Seastrong. He is an electric running back. And I'll tell you another electric player. Kansas State fans have to be excited when they just saw Daniel Sam sprint on to the field. He's on the sidelines now, guys. Looks like he may be healthy.
Little magic in the locker room. Seastrong running behind a pile of white, stacked up by a pile of purple to the 32, maybe the 33-yard line. Yeah, Sam's looks like he's moving well. Those are the numbers, 3 of 5 passing, but Joey, the legs. That's what the story has been today for the Wildcats. 134 yards on the ground.
He has been the offense for Kansas State, and they need him back in the field.
Quick throw, far side. Ball is out, big hit. Corey Coleman, the intended receiver.
Craig, Baylor just doesn't have any energy right now. They really don't. On an important 3rd and 4, they just looked a little bit lax. Bryce Petty just kind of nonchalantly threw the ball out there, and Tevin Reese just kind of nonchalantly went about it. And you know what? Kansas State's playing with some energy right now. They got the crowd coming behind them. They're fired up to play the second half.
How about this? Only for the 2nd time, 3 and out in 68 possessions this season. Pressure blocked. Kansas State on the move, and listen to the purple passion in Manhattan.
Baylor better wake up really quick if they're expected to get things rolling, because this crowd is going after them, this team is getting after them. You can't just flip a switch, especially when you're on the road. Kansas State is playing fired up, energetic football, and they're feeding off this crowd here. Craig, number 17, right up the gut. They just didn't block him.
Kansas State, 19-yard line, 1st and 10. Waters takes the snap on a pitch, and here comes Hubert. Got the edge. 10, 5, crashes down to the 2-yard line. Dimitri Goodson came up, made the hit, and Kansas State, oh, they are knocking on the door.
And right there is why Baylor's defensive players are abandoning their responsibility. Because when they played the responsibility right there, great job forcing Jake Waters to pitch the ball, but you know what? The safety wasn't there. If you, like Ryan said earlier, if you can't trust your teammates to be in the right spot, you're going to try and do everything yourself. And you try and do everything yourself, you're going to open up gaping holes.
17-yard pickup for Hubert now. Daniel Sams back at quarterback. He'll tuck and run. Weaves his way in. Touchdown, Wildcats. I don't know what was in that locker room, a little magic spray, but Sams comes out and scores.
Mr. Miyagi was in there, giving a little Daniel LaRusso treatment coming back onto the field. But we've seen it all day, Craig. Daniel Sams setting up the run, following his blockers, patience before he hits the hole. Kansas State has done it all day. The offensive line, give them more credit, open up a gaping hole.
Now will Kansas State go for 2. And yes, they will. Trailing 21-19, just under 7 minutes left here in the 3rd. And they moved it to the near side hash mark. Sams and Hubert. Miller in motion. sure if Sam's being in the locker room, Joey, knew what the situation was in timeouts. That's the last timeout in this half for Kansas State.
And that could prove to be very costly in a close ball game in the fourth quarter.
Play clock ran itself down to 2. It's been an issue throughout this third quarter. But Sam's was in the locker room, I'm sure unaware that Waters had to burn one.
Well, but Sam's had to remember that he burned one himself to start the second half.
Doesn't like the look and then rises up and calls a timeout, and there's Coach Snyder. He told us in our meeting, look, we have not played Kansas State football. As you mentioned, Joey, last week, 12 turnovers, or 12 penalties, pardon me, 5 turnovers, and that loss to Oklahoma State. Double tight set as Kansas State tries to tie this game. Sams goes under center and starts the motion with Miller. Sams throws back the other way. No. Trujillo, nearly a miracle catch in the end zone. Great D by the secondary of Baylor. K.J. Morton. It started with special teams.
Special teams. Coach Bellotti at Oregon said special teams got to be special. You know who's special? Daniel Sams right now leading this K-State offense. Hey, Craig. Trujillo down on the ground right now for Kansas State. Slowly making his way up. Here's what happened just a moment ago on the two-point conversion. Daniel Sams rolling to the right, tried to sneak him out the backside. Goes up to try and make a play. Looks like he comes down on his shoulders. But if you see it from the other direction here, looks like he also landed on his head as well.
Oh, so close. Trujillo on the bench. Tell you, that was a scary moment for a moment. You know, we thought it was just shoulder, but on that second replay angle, you could tell he took a glancing blow to the head.
And the way he's sitting on the bench right now, and the way how long it took for him to get off that turf, makes me think that there's something going on with his head as well.
Kentelly to the 12-yard line. And Norwood is taken down at the 30. That's where Baylor will start up by 2. Time for a Lowe's Never Stop Improving game break. Los Angeles, here's Patrick O'Neill.
Well, quick little John Lester. All right, Craig, Joey, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Patrick. Looking forward to it. I've got to grow a beard. That's just exactly, you know, the way it is.
Grow a playoff beard.
Playoff beard indeed. There's a missed tackle. Goodley runs out of it, throws a stiff arm, and it's pushed out of bounds at the 48-yard line.
Craig, you can't grow the beard until next year. Playoffs don't start in college football until next year, right?
That's right. Who in baseball does not have the beard?
Everybody who's not in the playoffs.
Seastrunk alongside Petty. All day to throw. Good coverage downfield. Forces Petty out of the pocket. He's tripped up. Beautiful play. That ball's taken away. Mueller. They're going to call him down. What a play. That could be the one.
Fantastic effort by Mueller on that play. Bryce Petty trying to get to the sideline. And Mueller, the defensive end who never gives up. This guy, we saw him at the start of the season. The only spark for Kansas State against North Dakota State all over the field today, diving to make an incredible play. What a fantastic effort by Mueller.
How about the bounce? Went right to his hands. I tell you, that's got to be a nomination for the one on Fox Sports 1. Beautiful effort by Mueller. Now Kansas State down 2 with the football. Oh, the tide has turned in Manhattan. They'll start inside Baylor territory. Big hole. Hubert up the middle, strips a tackle, and is down at the 36-yard line. Big gain on first down of 8 yards.
And John Hubert's slow getting up as well. Boy, Craig, this Kansas State team is just getting beat up, but you know what? They keep on coming back. Daniel Sam's coming back. John Hubert getting off the ground. This is a tough Kansas State team that is not going to go away. They're not going to roll over just because Baylor is putting up 70 points a game. They're going to give them a run here.
Clock's under 6 minutes. They'll put the motion man, Sexton. Sam's on a carry off the right side. He's thrown down near the first down, about a yard shy, 35. Bryce Hager, the middle linebacker, with the tackle. This is a good set of linebackers for the Baylor Bears. Lackey, Hager, Hall, good speed. Hard to get to the edge.
Yeah, side to side, sideline to sideline type of guys. Not big and overly powerful. Eddie Lackey's only 6 foot. But these guys can run sideline to sideline very well. You're not going to get outside of them too often.
Kansas State needs a yard. Sam's follows the blocker. He has first down and more. Makes that little jitter step and works his way past the 25. I'll tell you, he's got some dance moves.
You think he's been watching Deion Sanders?
Wow.
He's got that Deion high step. Wait a minute, was he old enough to watch Deion Sanders?
I'm not sure.
Did I just date myself?
11 yards. How about 148 now on the ground on 20 carries for Daniel Sams. Last week he rushed for 118 against Oklahoma State. Kansas State using clock under 5 minutes, third quarter. Sams. Good pursuit. That play, Joey, took too long to develop, and Baylor was able to recover and string it out.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what they did. They strung it out. They were able to do a good job of forcing Daniel Sams to keep trying to find a hole all the way out to the sideline until you run out of room.
All right, Sams is going to come off the field. Now Waters is on for Bill Snyder and the Cats. He takes over second down at the 24-yard line. Miller, the motion man. Waters, nice cut. Another cut inside, rolls to the 19-yard line, call it the 18. And out front, Keenan Taylor, right guard, nice hole, number 79, led the way. I'm impressed with both the run ability of both Waters and, of course, what Daniel Sams can do.
Right. Jake Waters gets overlooked because Daniel Sams is such a great runner. But Jake Waters can run a little bit himself.
Got a player down, and we'll step aside. Cats on the move, down 2 on Fox. Third down and 4. Keenan Taylor, the injured player for Kansas State. Third time Bill Snyder, Joey's had to make a run on the field to check a player. He's up. Senior out of Tulsa. That is one big man. 6'4", goes about 300. There's a duo today of Waters and Sams.
Who've done I mean, the yin-yang combination, the two that seem to work perfectly together. In a lot of situations where quarterbacks would compete with each other and maybe try and lock each other out, they just seem to work effortlessly together. Sam's running the ball, Waters throwing the ball. A great combination of the two of them. But Keenan Taylor, part of that offensive line that has done a fantastic job for Kansas State today.
You mentioned earlier such a durable offensive line. Will Ash takes Taylor's place at right guard. 100 yards rushing on 16 carries in this quarter. Waters wants to throw, does. Pass complete inside the 15 to the tight end, Andre McDonald. And that's going to keep the defense a little off balance right there. You've been running the ball, now you throw it.
Well, Baylor is committing 8 guys up to the line of scrimmage to try and stop the run. And when you do that, you're leaving guys singled up in coverage. And it's a really simple, just a stick route. Go up 5 yards, break to the outside, and Jake Waters delivered the ball in the right spot. That's the key. He put the ball on the right shoulder, unlike earlier in the ballgame.
Clock runs up on 3 minutes left in this third quarter. Hubert, stutter step, nice cut, back inside, picks up a couple extra yards, and they'll mark him at the 6. Yes, Kansas State can gain a first down, Joey. Need to get just outside the 2-yard line. And now Sams I feel like I'm watching a Little League game, because how many times, remember when you were told by your coach, make sure you slap the hand of your teammate? Sam's comes in, Water comes out, and they trade high fives. .263 yards on the ground. Here comes more. Sam spins out of a tackle. A couple of flags are out. Sam Hall with the tackle.
Holding. Offense, 3. 10-yard penalty.
That's Rooks.
Replay second down.
The right tackle.
And that could be costly. You're so close to a first down. First and goal on the 2. That's a pretty good setup. Instead, now you're second and almost 15 on your own 17-yard line. Two very different situations.
Will Snyder, you saw just that little head shake of concern and disappointment. 3 wide receivers, near side. Sam, and inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Looked like he wanted to throw the football, but he tucked it, hit down by McAllister, the left end. Well, a field goal, Joey, puts you on top, but against this explosive Baylor Bear offense, you want the end zone.
Well, you need more than that. You need a bigger lead, and if Baylor's defense forces Kansas State to kick a field goal, you got to think of that as a win. After the huge momentum turn of the block punt to keep, and then the fumble from Bryce Petty, Ryan Mueller forcing the fumble, you have to think of a field goal as a win.
Play clock again. Just got it away. Sam stands tall, looks at the end zone, fires, finds the receiver inside the 5. First down, Cats. Terrell Miller. How about the patience of Daniel Sams?
Well, why did he have patience? Because of this offensive line. B.J. Finney, Cornelius Lucas, and the boys up front giving Daniel Sams all day to throw that football. He was able to scan the entire field and wait for his wide receiver to break in. It's tough for a secondary to cover for that long.
Kansas State playing without their top 2 receivers, Tyler Lockett and Tremaine Thompson. And they are first and goal, 2-yard line. Try to take the lead over 15th ranked Baylor. Sams on a keeper. Inside he goes. Touchdown, Kansas State. Touchdown by Daniel Sams, and Kansas State, for the first time, Baylor trails in a football game.
And I feel like a broken record. Daniel Sams, patience, gets behind Gronkowski, follows him through a hole that was opened up by a fantastic offensive line. How many times have we said that today? That's the key to victory for Kansas State. Just do that over and over and over.
Sams wants to pitch. Stutter step, Hubert chased, nearly got in, tossed out, 2-yard line.
And what a play in the open field by Terrell Byrd. He didn't end up making the tackle, but he kept contained, forced Hubert to give a shake out there, and allowed his defensive teammate to come down and make the play.
So the first time Baylor has trailed in the second half, it's 25-21, under a minute to play.
And watch Burt there. Forces Hubert to pause, forces him to come back in, allows Brody Trahan to come down the line of scrimmage and make that tackle. Keep 2 points off the board for Kansas State.
That's amazing. They have taken leads against their opponents throughout the season. I mean, they have led, Joey, by staggering margins by the end of the first quarter.
Well, this is the first time that we're going to see Baylor play deep into a football game. Their starting offense has only played 6 series in the second half. They don't play into the fourth quarter. I mean, they barely play into the second half. This is uncharted territory for the Baylor Bears. But you know what? At some point during the year, you knew you were going to be tested. And the great teams in college football rise to the occasion. If Baylor wants to be the type of team they talk about, this is the exact type of test they need to win.
Cantelli again angles that ball far side and drifts at the 23-yard line. Kansas State right on the spot at the 29-yard line. Big Mo, momentum, Joey, has really made the shift here in the second half in Manhattan.
It started with that block punt, and then has ended with that touchdown by Sams. But you had the strip, exactly. Ryan Mueller getting in there in the action. Offense, defense, everybody's feeding off this crowd for Kansas State right now. And if you're Baylor, you just need to take a deep breath. Get your composure, and then get a little momentum. Get a first down, and get things rolling.
First and 10, 29-yard line. Seastrunk straight ahead. 2, maybe 3 yards, and a host of cats on top of Blake Seastrunk on that tackle.
Well, I tell you what, there's no pep in the step for Baylor right now. There's no sense of urgency. A lot of guys walking around. That tempo that we see all the time, it's not there right now.
Petty calls for it. Off to Seastrunk, hits the edge. Kansas State chases and runs him out of bounds near the first down marker. Right at the 39-yard line. Dante Barnett, the strong safety.
Boy, Craig, from this angle, from our angle in the press box, I thought he got that first down.
About a half a football shy. On the ground they go. This time to Glasgow Martin, who powers off the side and picks up the first down. They're going to set the ball, then start the clock after the first down. They'll be at the 44-yard line. Now, they haven't moved the chains, Joey, but they've changed the marker to a first down along the Baylor sideline.
I don't know what they could possibly be discussing here. Baylor's getting lined up to run another play.
Now the chains move. 4 seconds left in this third quarter. And now the officials jump in, and that's going to end the quarter here in Manhattan. Got a game. Baylor 15th ranked. First time on the road. And they have found an opponent. Kansas State coming out strong in the second half. They've got a 25-21 lead on the Bears of Baylor. Joey, this is simply a meeting of the minds. As you said, take a breath. Defensive coordinator Phil Bennett. I think, again, surprised they have not been in this position this season.
Well, they're trying to figure out what to do on defense. They've played out of their responsibility and given up big plays. And then when they played their responsibility, Kansas State has blocked it well, and Baylor hasn't been able to make the tackle.
Big play. Mueller wraps up Petty. Gain of 2 to the 46-yard line.
And who made that play? Ryan Mueller. All over the place for Kansas State today. Number 44 coming in and making a big tackle.
Second down, play action. Petty once the deep ball's got him on the hands, rolling in. Reese, touchdown, and the quick hit offense of Baylor strikes here in the fourth quarter.
And for all that talk about Kansas State coming in, turning this ball game around, taking back the momentum, it only takes one play. And you know what it is? It's flat out speed. Tevin Reese gives a little bit of a move to the inside to force the safety to come down and honor it. Turns right up the field and goes.
That was Petty's first snap he's taken in the fourth quarter this year and delivers a touchdown. PAT is up and good by Jones. Stay close, got a game. 28-25, Baylor answers back here to start the fourth quarter, up 3 in Manhattan. Reese, emotional. He was a bit downtrodden earlier. Got a little emotional boost from his teammates. Couple of big touchdown receptions in this ballgame.
Well, they need it. Baylor needs some sort of emotion. They were just kind of walking around aimlessly at the end of that third quarter. They need some sort of spark, and they need it now because this defense is going to need some help.
Baylor set to kick, up by 3. First minute of the fourth quarter. Steven Johnson, 2-yard line. 20, 25, 30. Breaks a tackle. And throws his body down to the 35-yard line.
Hey, Craig, here's that last touchdown. Watch the safety. On the play fake, Seastrunk takes a step up. Tevin Reese comes in. And all he needs is that half a step by the safety. Watch him here. That's all it takes is one step, and you're out of position against these guys. Tevin Reese did a great job of running his route inside to get a little bit of clearance from the corner, knowing that that safety was in quarters coverage and was going to be playing a little bit of run support. Had his eyes in the backfield, and he got stuck.
184 yards receiving, a career high today. Senior out of Temple, Texas. That was a 32nd touchdown, Joey, under 2 minutes for Baylor this season. Kansas State goes back to work. Good field position with Sams at the quarterback. Hands off. And maybe a couple of yards loss as to Marcus Robinson, who jumped in to give Hubert, I guess, a rest, and he has dropped for a 2 yards loss.
Well, that's Dante Barnett, one of the safeties, trying to figure things out with his teammates. Make sure that they're sound in their responsibilities going forward, because Baylor is going to have to throw the ball here, and they're going to continue to throw the ball here in the fourth quarter.
Sams comes out. Jake Waters back on the field for Kansas State. Takes the snap in the pocket. Now he has room to run. Hits the edge, and he can't turn the corner, but picks up 2. Bryce Hager with the tackle. That was kind of a wrestle move.
Exactly.
Look at the ball control. Kansas State over now 32 minutes of ball control in this ball game.
Normally Baylor doesn't worry about that. It doesn't faze them. But they've made mistakes on offense to keep them from scoring points.
Bear show blitz. Here they come. Waters, tough throw. Try to throw it across the seam, and it's incomplete to Terrell Miller.
And I love the call by Coach Bennett, defensive coordinator for Baylor there. Brought what's called cover 0. You have 0 guys back, and you commit everybody to blitz. You're going to get home. You're going to get pressure on the quarterback, forcing him to get the ball out of his hands earlier than he wants to. That was an aggressive call, the type of call that Baylor needed on defense to get something going.
Mark Krause into punt inside his own 25-yard line. High hanger, fair catch, Norwood, 18-yard line. This game's still up for grabs. Emotion. The word of the day in Manhattan, 28-25, Baylor. Time to look at our 4-game summary here in Manhattan. Sams, 153 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Kansas State on the ground today, Joey. They're flirting with 300.
And most of it is Daniel Sams. He has been the spark for this Kansas State offense. He's facilitated everything that's gone out there.
Baylor's quick strike offense, 3 scores of over 40 yards. 28-25 Baylor. They've got the football, first and 10, 18-yard line. Seastrunk, maybe 2. They'll mark him at the 21. Ryan, I tell you, this crowd has been in it all day long. You sense any letdown?
No, the crowd is not letting down at all, Craig. They are energetic, as is the Baylor defensive sideline now. After that last series, they did a great job getting off the field. Coach Phil Bennett was yelling at his players, hey, guys, great job, great hustle. Guys like Bryce Hager was patting everybody on the back. They did an excellent job. See if their offense can take the momentum now.
Petty stands in the sunlight on a play action. He wants the ball to the sideline, does, but it's dropped incomplete at the 30. Goodley, second drop of the day as Dorian Roberts provided coverage along the far side. Goodley's had a rough day despite the big touchdown catch, but it's really been Tevin Reese, the go-to guy on this Baylor offense.
You got to keep coming back to the ball if you're Antoine Goodley. When you're running a comeback and you've got isolated coverage like that, get to the top of your route and drive back to the ball. Attack the ball until it's in your hands.
Big third down. Call it 8. 3 wide receivers near side. This crowd is not going to let Petty off the hook. Baylor 2 of 9 on third down conversions. Play clock under 5. Petty swarmed under and dropped at the 15. Ryan Mueller.
He's all over the field. Outside on the sideline, knocking the ball out of Petty's hand. This time he just loops back inside. Shoots the gap. He comes up with a big sack.
Joey, he was knocked down. How quick was he to jump back up and make that play?
He is a pure effort guy. You hear about a high motor guy? Well, that's high motor right there. Never stop it.
For the second time in this half. 3 and out for Baylor. High hanging kick. Zimmerman will take the fair catch at the 31-yard line. Kansas State down 3 with the football here on Fox. 15% Baylor and Oklahoma, but remember the Sooners beaten today by Texas 36-20.
Maybe that big game becomes Baylor Texas Tech. Big win for the Red Raiders today.
How about that flag? A little over anxious.
Defense, number 2. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's Sean Oakman. I'd say there's a load of potential with this young man. 6'9", 270, 9 TFLs, tackle for losses, a little quick off the edge.
Yeah, we haven't heard much from Sean Oakman today. I love Coach Bennett's quote about him, though. He's so raw. He can mess up everything on a play and still make a 5-yard tackle for loss. Well, maybe not on that one.
First down and 5. Sams waits behind that offensive line, makes the cut. Baylor strings it out again. And Sams drop. After a pickup of maybe 1, Lackey made the initial hit. And again, it's those linebackers that just continue to just chase after the quarterback.
Well, Lackey was able to scrape because Sean Oakman held his position. He held his point. He didn't make a decision. He didn't lose contain. He forced Sams to go outside, and Lackey was able to scrape over the top and make the tackle.
Clock under 11 minutes left to play in this game. 28-25 Baylor. Low snap. Sams on a delay. Nice run north-south. Hubert. They spun him like a top to the 49. Cornelius Lucas. Nice block to spring John Hubert.
Well, even when Daniel Sams isn't carrying the ball, he's facilitating his teammates. His ability to create big plays today has opened up holes for John Hubert. You have to focus on somebody else. When you're simply focusing on John Hubert, he's been shut down this year. But in the last 2 years when he's had Colin Klein in there with him, he's been able to be a great complementary back, and that's what's happening today.
They bring in the fullback Gronkowski alongside Sams. They need a blocker. They got one. Sams hits a wall, moves forward, picks up 4 inside Baylor territory now at the 47-yard line. Hager in on that tackle. He came in with 30 stops. He's been around the football all afternoon. Methodical drive being manufactured here by Kansas State. Under 10 minutes to play. Second down. Great fake. Sams breaks a tackle and another. Still on his feet. Inside the 35 to the 33-yard line.
Play your responsibility, Craig. Play your responsibility. Right there, Lackey went inside to make the play when his job was to stay outside and keep contained. You can't try and make the play by yourself. The defensive end has the running back contained. Your job is to scrape over the top and take quarterback. You cannot take those type of chances.
307 yards of rushing offense by Kansas State. Here's a little more. Sam's again. High steps his way out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Kansas State has near doubled their offensive output in this ball game. They came in 155 yards a game. They're about over 310. And Sam's has chewed off some big chunks against Baylor.
Sam's has got to be getting close to that 200-yard mark. He has put this team on his shoulders and carried them in this ball game.
Sam's officially now, Joey, 181 yards, 19 away from 200. Under 9 minutes left. Flags are out as Hubert's down to the 20-yard line.
Holding. Offense, number 48. 10-yard penalty, second down.
That's Gronkowski, number 48.
Watch Gronkowski just gets a little aggressive here. Gets his arm outside the framework of the body and tackles him. You have to keep your arms inside the framework of the defender's body. You can get away with a little grab, but you can't wrap your arm around the tackle.
Nearly 36 minutes of possession for Kansas State. Baylor jump, got back. 5 on the play clock. Sam's makes the read up the middle. He goes, breaks a tackle, and picks up yards down to the 25.
Boy, and how about that? Lackey, the linebacker, read his keys well and followed the fullback outside. But the rest of the offensive line just did such a good job. They opened up a second hole, and Daniel Sam's saw it and just cut back right inside.
Sam's 41 yards through the air. His leg's the big story here today as we are under 8 minutes. Baylor shows blitz. Sam's again runs, stumbles inside, and falls past the 25 to the 24. Now, Bill Snyder's got a decision. 4th down, call about a yard and a half.
I don't think there's a decision here. You got to kick this one.
Yeah, tie it up.
You got to get these points. It would be nice to be able to chunk off some more time on the clock and get 7 and go ahead, but you have to tie this ball game up.
Cantelli's hit 2 field goals, 24 and 34. This will be a 41-yard attempt right between the hash marks. Good snap, hold, kicks up. No good from 41. So Cantelli tries to tie this game. Baylor stays on top by 3. Ford built tough, and what a tough game this been. Baylor has taken apart their opponents throughout this season, but not today. 28-25, Bears up with just under 7 minutes of play in Manhattan.
Well, it shows what can happen to even the best teams in the country, where if you don't play mistake-free football on the road, you're going to find yourself in a fight.
Kansas State's defense being tested once again as Petty hands the ball as Glasgow Martin gets the carry. 2 yards to the 27. Came in with just 21 carries. Had 12 touches last week, 63 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Martin was the big guy who hurt K-State last year, and Baylor, along with Seastrong, they combined for 4 touchdowns. Martin tries the edge. He stopped, dropped at the 32, shy of the 1st down. They brought him back slowly too, Joey, from that ankle injury. Now he's starting to find some mid-season form. He'll get the carry again, right side, 1st down. as he breaks it off the right side. Let's get a thought from Ryan Neese.
Craig and Joey, this is an opportunity for the Baylor offense to impose their will, be physical, and try to run this clock out with the run game. We saw Glasgow Martin doing a great job running the ball. Seastroke is coming in right now as well. They have an opportunity to close out this game and be physical up front with this offensive line.
Seastrunk on the edge. Can't get outside, tripped up, but he still picks up 4. Dorian Roberts, who played the scout squad for Bill Snyder last year, tripped him up. Second down, 6. Not a lot of production for Baylor the last 5 times they've had the football, and what a play. Roberts flies in the backfield and drops Petty for a big loss.
And that was a great play by Dorian Roberts, but a great read by Bryce Petty. Almost getting out of his watch. Corner comes on the blitz. Bryce Petty pulls it off, and instead of crashing down and trying to tackle Seastrunk, Roberts keeps his responsibility, stays on Bryce Petty, even though he isn't a game breaker, and makes a fantastic tackle.
Joey, this crowd is up. It's alive. Listen in on 3rd down and 10. The timeout. They had 3 to burn. They just used 1. Art Briles pacing and pacing. 4:39 left. Stay close on Fox. 3rd down and 10. 4:39 left. Petty just had a talk with Art Briles, Philip Montgomery, offensive coordinator. Briles, the architect of this Baylor offense. Baylor 3 of 11 on 3rd downs today. Dropped. K-State holds. Goodley for the 3rd time today cannot find the handle.
3 critical drops by Antoine Goodley today. That ball was right in the breadbasket, and he needs to make that catch. You know, I feel like a broken record saying it, but you cannot make these type of mistakes on the road. At home, you can get away with it because you got the crowd to support you. But on the road, when Kansas State is controlling the clock, you need this football.
Roth on a line drive punt. Zimmerman, the fair catch, 20-yard line. 80 yards away. 4:28 remaining. And a 42-yard punt. Visit ADT.com/sports to enter for a chance to win an ADT security and home automation system. That's ADT.com/sports. Well, Goodley, the head is down. As you mentioned, Joey, 3 drops, and this is a guy that came in, one of the most potent wide receivers in the country.
Well, yeah, he knows it, Craig. I mean, he's going to go into the film room, and he's going to see it, and he's going to beat himself up more than anybody else could. He's just that type of player. But now it's up to the Baylor defense. They need to come up with a big stop and get the ball back to the offense.
And the ball's in the hands of Sams. He wants to throw. Now he tucks. He's got room. Far side, 25. Chased. How about the close down speed of Lackey?
These linebackers can run. They're, like we said earlier, they're not big, fill-the-hole type of guys. Lackey's only 6 feet tall, but he can get sideline to sideline in a hurry.
Lackey, Hager, Hall, kind of how football has morphed from strong safeties into middle and strong and wheel side linebackers.
Yeah, that's very true. I love the story of Lackey. Started at a small school in Michigan, and his coaches essentially said, hey, you're too good to play here. Go try it somewhere else. And he ended up here at Baylor and has done a fantastic job for him.
Pickup of 8, 2nd down, 2. Sams, the protection breaks down, skips out of the pressure, slings it, far side. That ball picked off.
Yeah.
Intercepted, 39-yard line.
Ahmad Dixon. Ahmad Dixon, he's a big hitter. but he's a great cover guy as well. Coach Bennett said, hey, you know what? We've seen Ahmad Dixon come up and make tackles. He needs to learn how to stay in coverage and follow his responsibility. He did a great job of covering for an extended period of time there. That's tough for a secondary to do when a quarterback breaks contain. That's when you see big plays happen a lot. Instead, Ahmad Dixon comes up with a big play for Baylor.
First interception of the season for Ahmad. Got the foot down. Beautiful timing. And now Baylor at the 39-yard line of Kansas State, protecting a 3-point lead. Glasgow Martin bangs ahead for 2. That defense had their head down, Joey, earlier in this fourth quarter. They come up with a big play. Turnovers even one apiece.
You know, look, at the end of the season, when you look back and line them all up, you don't count how many points you won or lost by. You count how many games you won or lost. And if Baylor can get out of here with a 3-point win, it's just as good as a 30-point win.
Petty, Martin breaks it off the right side. First down at the 27. Now Kansas State came in with 3 losses, Joey. Those 3 losses, 10 points or less. But you know what? Your comment is spot on. There's still 3 losses.
Absolutely. And in those losses, those last 2 weeks, it hasn't been Bill Snyder football. 10 penalties in the first half against Oklahoma State. Down 7 in turnovers the last 2 weeks. It hasn't been typical Kansas State football. When they have played good Kansas State football like this, they're in the ballgame.
Martin lowers his pads and pulls his way past the 25 at the 23-yard line. The stadium is named after the head coach of Kansas State, Bill Snyder. An $80 million West Side addition this past year. 50,000 strong. Not once but twice, as we mentioned, the Bill Snyder's brought this Kansas State football team back to prominence. And remember, Kansas State can do nothing with the clock. No timeouts remain.
Well, Baylor's milking the clock right now. You never see them huddle, but that's exactly what they're doing. They need to be careful with only 2 seconds left on the clock.
Play clock to 3, just got it away. And reaching out for a yard or 2 is Martin. Mueller has had a terrific day. Martin has really come on, shaking off that ankle injury. To this combination through the middle of this season and beyond, Seastrunk and Martin with a healthy Glasgow Martin, that makes his team even more dangerous.
Well, yeah, it does. They've had the luxury of being able to bring Glasgow Martin back slowly with such blowouts to start the season. They haven't needed them. But now that you're getting into the meat of the Big 12 schedule, having 2 backs is such a huge luxury.
And we haven't mentioned Shock Linwood, who's another fine back. Under center goes Petty. Martin breaks a tackle. He'll walk it in to seal the deal. Baylor touchdown.
And this crowd that was behind the Kansas State team so well today just went silent. You just felt the air just disappear.
Strong series for Martin as he takes it in for the touchdown, and now we'll see a PAT. Aaron Jones to try to make it a 10-point advantage. Chip shot up and good. $35-25. Tension-filled day here in Manhattan, and I'm guaranteeing you tension tonight as it's game 1 of the American League Championship Series as the Tigers will battle the Boston Red Sox. Both teams try to make one step closer to the World Series. Legends are born in October, and our coverage of baseball's postseason begins tonight. Following football with game 1 of the ALCS, and it's only on Fox. So disappointment for Wildcat fans and relief for Art Briles as his team just a minute 16 away from going 5-0 and 2-0 in Big 12 play.
This one's a big one. This one's a really big win.
How much does this game convince the doubters of Baylor? 15th ranked, potent offense, some struggles today, miscues as well, Joey, but still a 35-point performance. Half of what you would expect from a Baylor offense.
It wasn't perfect, but it's a win. I mean, that's all that matters. Teams will start eliminating themselves as the season goes on. And frankly, if you're Art Briles and you're Baylor, you can't worry about whether people doubt you or not. You just have to win games. And if you win, you will work your way up in the polls.
One-yard line is Johnson. 20, hits the sideline, and stepped out of bounds at the 29, call it the 30. Well, Baylor, last Big 12 road win, November 12th of 2011. That was a 31-30 overtime victory against the Jayhawks of Kansas. This program's made some leaps and bounds since those times.
Yes, it has, and it's all because of that man right there. Art Briles has used the talent that he's recruited extremely well. Robert Griffin III, obviously a Heisman Trophy winner, but next year Nick Florence, a completely different type of quarterback. Worked the offense around him, and now Bryce Petty. They're tailoring it to his strengths as well.
Waters in quarterback. They're going to air it out deep. That ball is up. It was in the hands of Kyle Klein and then dropped incomplete. The brother of quarterback Colin Klein, the Heisman finalist a year ago for Kansas State. That should have been a catch. That was a catchable ball.
It was. It was, but let's also remember that Kyle started as a defensive end and is pressed into action here today because of the injuries to Lockett and Thompson.
Waters goes back to work, throws it far side, right on the numbers of Curry Sexton. Out of bounds, stops the clock. And again, Kansas State without a timeout. And under a minute left, down 10.
Well, you had to get to the sideline. And there was a missed coverage, a miscommunication in the secondary for Baylor there. Two guys went with the post and let Curry Sexton just go wide open towards the sideline so he can stop the clock.
Waters flush from the pocket. Chase tripped up, spins. Second effort, he was trapped, but still picks up yardage to the 43-yard line. Joey, last week, tough loss at Oklahoma State. This week, they played Baylor tough. Couldn't hang on in the final 4 minutes. Kansas State works the middle of the field. Baylor's happy to let them have it because there's no timeouts and the clock runs after they reset the chains.
Well, that's been the story of the season, starting from that North Dakota State game when they had the lead at North Dakota State. Went 19 plays to end the game and win it. It's been that type of season for Kansas State ever since.
Waters pounds the ball into the turf. That stops the clock, brings up second down, 23 seconds left. Following football, ALCS Game 1. Tigers, Red Sox. Kansas State's going to drop Joey to 2-4. And for the first time since 1991, Baylor will go 5-0 to start the season.
We're 5-0 with 2 games that appear very winnable on paper against Iowa State and Kansas coming up next.
Waters, coverage sack. He was looking for the end zone. Good defense, and Waters takes a seat. The clock's going to run. One more play. They'll take the snap with 3 seconds. They'll air it to the end zone. And it's incomplete. Time runs dry, and Baylor moves to 5-0 with a 35-25 win on the road in Manhattan, Kansas.
They passed a tough test today. It wasn't pretty, but they passed a tough test.
Art Briles trots across the field. There's the handshake. Art Briles, Bill Snyder. And Kansas State will go back to work. Next up on their schedule, Joey, is West Virginia, and Baylor